Toronto Blue Jays got back on track today with a 9-2 win over the Tampa Bay Rays, and they split the four-game series. But the big takeaway, Justin Turner has arrived, and he is here, and he is performing for the Blue Jays. So we'll break that down and much more in this episode of Jays Digest. What's up, Jays fans? I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, alongside host Nick Gosse, and Jays picked up a pretty big win today. They stayed the course. They managed to go 500 in this four-game series against the Tampa Bay Rays. Obviously, it wasn't always pretty at times. They had a couple of blowouts mixed in there after their two wins, and hey, I've been staying constant with this take that if they go 5-5 in their first 10 games on the road against very tough opponents, I think that's a big win. And then you get to the Rogers Center at 500, and then you could start playing some real baseball with arguably the toughest part of your schedule out of the way in the early portion of the season. So, Nick, we saw some good things today, some not so good things in that series overall, but Justin Turner was the big takeaway today. Went 3 for 4. He drove in 4 runs. He hit his first home run as a Blue Jay. He was just fantastic at the plate. And this was the Justin Turner game, plain and simple. He put the team on his back in the early part of that game, and he carried them to victory, at least offensively. And it's a good way. It's a good way to go into Houston tomorrow. And they're a team that's hungry right now because they just lost the first 3 games of their season to the Yankees. And they're going to be out for blood tomorrow against the Jays.
A very good way to finish a very interesting opening, week series. Before we get into it, a quick reminder, hit the subscribe button. We are on the road to 12,500, so if you're part of that 73% who aren't subscribed, make sure to hit that button. And Peter, you mentioned it. The first game was great. The second and third game, the offense was dead. And then now today, there was no real close games, like Dan Shulman was mentioning in the broadcast, but what a game, what a day, and overall, we said it in our stream, we said it in the videos, 2-2 for this series was kind of the realistic goal. Obviously, 3-1 would have been nice, but I have some clips to show you today. Absolute masterclass from Justin Turner, and Ernie Clement had himself a game. He only went 1 for 5, but defensively, in light of Bo Bichette being scratched due to neck spasms, I believe it was, he was unbelievable. But Justin Turner's the story of this. We brought him in to hit home runs, and more importantly, we brought him in to do something the Jays failed to do last year, which was hit with runners in scoring position, and that's what he does. His whole career has been unbelievable, specifically last year, especially with the Boston Red Sox. He was great hitting with runners in scoring position, and today he did that with 4 RBIs, and obviously David Schneider had a home run too. Everyone contributed. Just need some more consistency out of the offense because the first and fourth game were great. In the middle, not so much. Got to find some consistency there, but Justin Turner, he is, after struggling a little bit at the start, he is fully back, and he's arrived at the Blue Jays doing exactly what we hoped he would do when we signed him.
Yeah, I wasn't worried about Justin Turner struggling in those first 3 games, in the first 2 games, rather. He's really good. He's a veteran. He's someone that's very consistent at the plate. One of the best pure hitters in baseball still, even at 39 years old. He doesn't strike out much. He can work a walk, and he's clutch. He's clutch. He understands big-time situations, and that's what the Blue Jays were missing for the large part of last year. He set a career high with 96 RBIs with the Red Sox last season, and that's an added boost that the Blue Jays could use to this lineup. We've seen the two sides of the Blue Jays in this series. We've seen how good they can truly be, at least offensively and in every other component. We've seen the really, really good, and we've seen the really bad as well. How are the Blue Jays going to be able to stay in games when they don't have their A game, when their offense isn't clicking at the level that it should be? That's going to be a big question mark going forward. Can they sustain pressure from other teams? Are they able to pick up wins when nothing is really clicking for them? That's what the elite teams do. They find ways to win even when they don't have it, even when their star players aren't necessarily clicking in all facets of the game. So that's going to be a big question mark going forward. But like I said in the intro, like I'm going to say right now, if they can go 5-5 in these first 10 games, that's really good. I think that's positive. Then you head home against the Seattle Mariners, a team that has given the Jays some fits in the past couple of years, but you put yourself in a good spot. You're 500. You're not trying to escape from drowning underwater. Like you're right there, and you're staying the course. And I think this Blue Jay team has the capability to do that. And Justin Turner, great performance today. Not much more can be said about that.
Yeah, every game matters against these interdivisional opponents, especially, I mean, you said obviously it's early in the season, but these tiebreakers can come back to matter. And when Bo Bichette, one of arguably our best hitter alongside Vladdy, is down and gets scratched last minute, a lot of Jays fans were a little nervous. But Kevin Gausman took the hill, and we saw some defense as well from Ernie Clement, like I mentioned. I mean, this was an unbelievable play. I mean, from Vladdy as well. Vladdy played very good defense. There was just a lot of things that came together. Obviously, it was a 9-1 game at that point, so it didn't mean too much, but Ernie Clement had a flawless game at shortstop, and then, of course, Justin Turner. I mean, he had his bases loaded, double, I believe it was. He had the home run. He was just exactly what you want to see out of Justin Turner, and there's not much more you can say about the offense today. It did its job completely. Consistency is going to be the big thing, but Peter, I want to touch on Kevin Gausman, who was on a pretty severe pitch count. I believe he only got to 69 pitches. I think the goal was between 70 and 75, but they didn't want to leave him out there for another batter. He looked all of exactly what we expect. He looked like all of Kevin Gausman, 6 strikeouts in 4 1/3, and the bullpen did great as well. And Keegan Matheson saying, that's a great start. I expect him to have somewhat close to a full workload in his next start, then be without restrictions from there, which is a very positive sign. It's always good having your ace go in the 4th game of the season, especially after missing your losing back-to-back games. But Peter, Gausman, I mean, the whole bullpen, Chad Green gave up a home run at the end, but Gausman specifically, everyone was great today from the pitching staff, didn't have to use too much of the bullpen, and Kevin did exactly what he wanted to do against a lineup that was very hot the past 2 games.
Yeah, one more quick thing on the defense. I know Justin Turner had a great game offensively, but
Yeah.
I'd rather not see him play regularly at third base. I think the Blue Jays have a better hitting lineup when he is there because it gives them more thump 1 through 9 because that allows Bo to be in the lineup and Springer. And, I mean, it just – I get it. I get Springer needed a DH day today because he wanted to keep that hot bat in the lineup, but – not the prettiest sight watching 39-year-old Justin Turner at third base, but he won them the game offensively. So you take the good with the bad. And Ernie Clement, I mean, his arm is what really stood out to me at shortstop. He's got a cannon over there releasing across the diamond. Pretty big switch from watching him and Bo Bichette. I mean, obviously, Bo, he's a great hitter. He's got to be in the lineup every day, but Ernie Clement is really good defensively, and he did a great job today. He made that tough play in the hole, the jump throw. I mean, just fantastic all around, and someone that contributes with the bat as well. I'd like to see him get a little bit more playing time, if I'm being totally honest. If Justin Turner doesn't play third base, I'd like to see Ernie get a few reps over there because he's got the arm to do it, and I think he's a really valuable player, someone that could help this team out. And in terms of the pitching, Nick, we saw great things out of Kevin Gausman. Didn't look out of place at all. He carried over that confidence from his first spring training start against the Pirates into today. Apart from that one mistake that he made, giving up the home run ball, he looked really good. He was solid. 70 pitches was his limit, and he threw 69 and got through 4 1/3. Yep. Was it? It was 4 1/3, and just solid out of Kevin Gausman. 6 strikeouts. The stuff looked really good, and then got to give Mitch White a huge shout out as well for eating up those 3 innings. And that's the one silver lining that we could take from this 4-game series is that the bullpen was not overworked. We saw Wes Parsons get the majority of the bulk duty in the first game. He ate up those in the second game. He ate up those remaining innings after Chris Bassett's day was done. Saw Genesis Cabrera early, but Chad Green only pitched for the first time today. So you're keeping those high leverage arms fairly fresh. I don't even know if Jimmy Garcia got in any action in the 4 games.
Yesterday he pitched.
Did he? Yes, yesterday. But like apart from that, he hasn't been overworked, right? He hasn't been overworked, and your high leverage guys are going to have to depend upon before Eric Swanson and Jordan Romano come back. I mean, they're managing to stay fresh, and they got a big series coming up against Houston.
Very, very big, and I'm looking forward to it. 2-2, we'll take it. Highs and lows, but baseball is back, and that's the most important thing. And quick shout-out before I end it to IKF. Good day at the plate, great day in the field, great catch to finish it. The Jays have a lot of decisions to make regarding Davis, Schneider, Clement, IKF, Biggio. They're all playing very well, and Schneider as well this home run. But that'll wrap it up. If you're happy that the Jays are back and that they got the split, let us know in the comment section below. If you want to check out our video from yesterday, click on your screen now, and we'll see you tomorrow.